Alright, live today, love tomorrow, unite forever, to be limitless. Welcome to this new video. The video is going to be about from 0 to 1 million a year in a high ticket service based business by having the right sales strategy. In order for you to get to 1 million a year, the only thing you need to do is have 83k per month in revenue. And just being honest, for me, this has been so extremely unclear for the last 4 years. Had a couple of businesses, some of them went good, some of them were not very good. And I've been like very inconsistent with my revenue, having like 20k months, 10k months, 15k months, but also like 5k months or 2k months, right? So, and it was generally because I hadn't had any good strategy. So I just had no idea what I was doing, or especially not being able to get a consistent growth. So what changed? What changed is especially the people who I got information from, and by having the right mentors, I am able right now to make a consistent growth in my revenue for the last couple of months. And just to go over that for a sec, is that's also the reason why I'm making this video, of course, because I aim to document and share my story to eventually inspire and empower others to grow alongside me in this journey, and ultimately being able to help you further with my service. So right now we were at about 35k per month. We're on track to hit 50k next month, and here are some of the results. So 36k last month, and one of our clients did 18k in 1 week, so that was pretty cool. And of course we're aiming to keep it up and just get more of those amazing results. Alright, this is a guideline, not just something to get you off the ground, but really a runway to start you flying and keep you going. That's what I'm aiming to do with this. I'm bringing you as much fun as I can. So yeah, let's dive into it. Alright, achieving 83k per month. There are 3 phases in order for you to get there. The first phase is going to be specialized knowledge. Let's dive into it literally. So the first phase is indeed being specialized knowledge. So what you want to do is become valuable. Once you are valuable, you're able to earn money, actually, because where do people pay for? It's value, right? So if you're valuable, people are willing to pay for you. And what you want to find out is, what is your unique value? So you want to find out 2 things. One is indeed, what's your unique value, and the other one is like, on what domain do you possess specialized knowledge? So your unique value is, for example, for me, it's my ability to unite people together. I'm very keen on seeing what kind of people fit together, and I'm able to unite them together throughout my own processes. Domain where you process specialized knowledge is, for me, let's close it a little bit up. So for me, my domain in specialized knowledge is sales. The reason of that is because I've been doing sales for like 5 years. So that's my domain of mastery, so to say. So those are 2 different things, and you want to know both for you to be able to be valuable and have specialized knowledge, so to say. So find out what's your unique value and what is your domain of specialized knowledge in order for you to be valuable and go to the next stage. One thing to add here, I've seen a lot of people, including myself especially, who's like, oh, I'm gonna start a business, right? And then you want to start a business, but you are not valuable yet. at that moment, like, what kind of business are you gonna start, right? Because there is no value yet. So if you really want to start a business, I would recommend becoming valuable first. Just a small note. All right, let's go to next phase, which is packaging your expertise. Once you have become valuable, you want to package in a way that you can scale limitlessly or help people in a limitless way. And what do I mean with limitless? Limitless is without boundaries. So you can just focus on delivering and getting results and providing value without having limitations. In order for us to have a limitless offer, we need to look at three things: the way of packaging the offer, so we need to make it specific. We need to have the right economics to make sure it's profitable, and we need to be able to make it scalable so it can grow. This is the easiest way to look at it. So like I said, packaging the offer, scalability, and economics. So, for example, if we do not have one of those points, the offer, that the packaging of what we're going to provide or service is going to be limited. So let's dive into it. For example, you have a scalable offer, and so it's scalable, more people can use it, and it's also specific. So it's where the packaging is exactly to a target. It's exactly what you want. But you do not have the right economics, so you're making like 10 or 20% margins, for example. Then in this case, you are here because it's scalable and you have a specific offer, but you're limited to the finances. And because you're limited to the finances, you're not able to hire the right people. Because you're not able to hire the right people, you're stuck inside of your business. Make sense? So that's the reason why it's important to have all of those three aspects dialed in. So let's dive into it one by one. Okay, the first thing we're going to dive in is packaging the offer. So what we want to have and use is a 3S formula. A 3S formula is very simple. It's a specific avatar, so a person that you are trying to target and help, of course. A specific problem that you're solving, and a specific way of solving this problem. By having this very specific offer, so a specific person, problem, and way of solving it, you're able to target narrowly and precise on that one problem, avatar, and solution. And because it's narrowly and precise, you're able to keep improving it and make it better every time you're doing it. So, for example, you have 10 different avatars. You're all targeting on 10 different avatars with different solutions. You have no focus. But if you have just one avatar solving one problem together, and in one way of doing it, you can perfect that one solution. And that's eventually where the real value comes from. Everyone can do everything a little bit, but very few are able to focus on just doing one thing perfectly. So here are a couple of examples for how I do it. A specific problem, for me, it's not being able to recruit, train, or manage the sales team towards 500k per month. The specific avatar are high-ticket service-based businesses doing 10 to 250k per month. And a specific way for me is offering sales strategy coaching, tools, sales rep placement, and closing coaching. So what you do not want to have is like very general pitches. So something like, I'll be helping businesses with sales. That's like so broad, people have no idea what you're doing. I mean, like, sales is like one of the biggest parts of a business, right? One of the core components. So if you're reaching out to 1,000 people with like, hey, I'm helping you with sales, then people still don't have a clue what you're doing. So be precise by using the 3S model. Now we have to offer in. We want to focus on the next part, and that's going to be the economics. So a business should have high profit margins, because if you have high profit margins, you're able to attract and employ the right people for your business. That's eventually what you want. And lastly, what we want to have is make it scalable. So can you handle like 20 new clients a month, like just tomorrow, right? Yes or no? If the answer is no, then it's not scalable enough. Because it's not scalable, you're limited in your thinking. And eventually that results in not growing at the level that you could grow, at least. So, by having all of those, scalable, economics, and offer, we eventually have a limitless offer. So, once more, limitless offer is an offer without limitations on scaling and providing value. So in no way you are limited in any sense. That means because there are no limitations to your offer, your thinking is going to be towards limitless as well. So because you're in a limitless state of thinking, you're able to provide the value without limitations, literally. So that's eventually where we want to go through. In order for us to validate if we're having a truly limitless offer, we need to be able to make some sales, of course. So what you want to do is validate the offer by making sales yourself as a business owner. I've seen a couple of situations where an owner is like, oh, I don't want to do the sales anymore at the very beginning of the company, and then let a sales team do it for them without having a really good validation. And honestly, often that just results in a lot of headaches, because the owner is the one that's able to see how people react on their offer and on their service the best. So by doing the sales calls themselves, they're able to see how people respond on what part of the offer. And with that, it's easier for you to validate it. Awesome. Another thing that's very important, I believe, so is having one offer. Because if you have multiple offers, it's going to be harder to narrow down that focus, right? Where we just talked about. So, for example, you have a coach, has two different offers. You have like a 5K one and a 1500 one, right? Then, by having the other one available, it is a good possibility that it's being pushed or being sold in wrong moments. So what do I mean? You have someone on the call, and this one person is like doubting about the 5K one. What you're gonna do naturally is to provide him with an easy solution, because we're hardwired to take the easy route. So what you're gonna do is be like, hey, you know what? We also have this like 1500 offer, might be better for you. And he's either gonna be like, oh yeah, sure, let's do that, or more like, oh yeah, I just never mind, right? And by downselling him, you just lost $3,500 in opportunity. So if that happens in 10% of your calls and you have 100 calls a month, then you actually have an opportunity loss of 35K. So, and for everyone that's like, yeah, but Dan, like, otherwise I wouldn't have closed the deal. Well, that's perfect, because that's exactly what you want. Because if you have someone on the call that's not able to afford your main program, then something else should happen. You either should be focusing more on the targeting, that should be better, or you should be having more payment plans, for example, so people can afford it. After we have a limitless offer and we have one limitless offer, we're able to go to the next phase, and that's an infinite selling system, aka also known as a consistent, repeatable, and scalable method of transforming strangers into sales. By achieving this system allows us to be able to scale to 83K per month, and what is been giving me a consistent revenue flow finally. So what we want to have when I have a situation where the only limitation that we have is delivery. So we need to like be able to deliver more people. So in order to do that, we need a system um, that's repeatable, scalable, and reliable. Consistent, repeatable, and scalable. So let's dive into that. First off, consistent. Consistent means always reliable. So that means that whenever we're using it, we can expect the same outcome. So, like you set an alarm clock, you just know it's gonna ring. Repeatable means that we can keep repeating it, keep executing it an infinite numbers of times without limitations. Essentially, it's as simple as pushing a button to generate leads. And the other one is scalable. It expands easily with demand. So, just like a rubber band, you can just keep on stretching it and don't worry about breaking it. Very simply put. Alright, so the first step that we need to have is igniting interest. Because if someone's interested, we can eventually convert them into sales. So there are a couple of ways to ignite interest. One of the ways right here is using outbound messages. You're sending messages to people, and then they're like, hey, this might be cool. And if you're interested, they become prospects. Very simple. The other one is using ads. So making an advertisement, people see the advertisement, they click on it, now they're interested. The reason why those two work so well is because what we want to have is that input equals to the output. So for example, when we're using appointment setters, we have 2 appointment setters, outbound appointment setters, sending messages, and they're both booking 20 appointments a week, for example. Now, if we have 4 appointment setters and they're doing the same volume, then there's a big chance that right now we doubled the amount of appointments that we're getting. Because 2 appointments did 40 appointments per week. Now 4 appointment setters will probably be doing around 80 appointments a week. Good morning. So what we want to have is something where the input equals or correlates closely to the output. In that way, we're able to control it, and that's eventually what you want. Then, once we have the interest and the appointments, we want to convert them to sales. And what we want to have is make this system, of course, also repeatable. And we're able to do that by having a framework. A framework is nothing more than just a simple way of structuring the calls. For example, always asking like, hey, what's the main reason that you decided to jump on a call today? What's your biggest challenge? Why is the reason that you want to change this now? All those questions that you keep asking in order for you to understand the prospect in the right way. Then, it's very keen to have 3 buckets in where your customers are going to fall in. It just makes it easier to either repeat the process but also understand the prospects better. So for me, for example, it's going to be either people that need skilled closers or setters, people that are aiming to increase their current sales results, so conversion optimization, or it are people that need more appointments. So whenever someone is interested in my service, I can see, okay, what does this person need mostly? And then based on that, I can understand them better and provide them with the right solution. Alright, by following these steps, you should have the right framework in order for you to get to 38k per month. Because when you're able to have around 2 deals per week from this system with a lifetime value of 10k per month, then you are already at around 83k per month. So, I believe it was a lot of value for you, and I believe you're able to implement the right things. If you want to learn more about whatever I'm doing or about sales strategy, then just go to my Instagram and Sometimes I'm throwing a promo or a free session to get some extra value into here. So hit me up and good luck. Stay limitless.